Greetings and salutations, Earthlings. Zube here, and I am going to do a collective reading. I'll light a candle. If you are interested in a personal reading, astrology, or tarot, my information is down below. Happy eclipse, happy lunar eclipse in Scorpio. If all of my collective readings are timeless, so if you are coming upon this and it is not during the eclipse, it may, if it resonates still, you are free to listen, but we are letting go of situations that just where you're bashing your head against the wall, where you're trying to make things work that haven't been working. That's in summation what this eclipse is about. And I'm experiencing this very personally. It's a releasing of control, knowing that God's in charge. Yeah. Anyway, let's pull some cards and see where we're at. So when I'm doing a collective reading, you can sort of be anywhere in it. I'm kind of wanting to tap into the pulse of as within, so without. So like, how are we each feeling, or what are we experiencing or learning internally? And how does that translate into how we're interacting with one another? So let's go. I'm going to do a Celtic cross. This might be kind of a long one, so feel free to pause. We're actually about 50 minutes away from the eclipse. All right, we got two cards, Celtic cross. So we got the star and the 5 of wands. That represents us, where we are. We're conflicted. And so, yeah, it's really funny. The 5 of wands is inner conflict, inner turmoil, uncertainty. It's fire energy. The 5 of swords is more brutal. That's like the mental journey. 5s are always about change, a shift in dynamics, uncertainty. But the star card is about hope. But it's still, God, it's exactly what I was fucking saying about this eclipse, what it is. We're not like giving up, like we're not pushing away an outcome that we may want or desire. We're not actively rejecting it. However, we are releasing whether or not it happens. It's kind of like, I love the concept of being attached to an outcome, and then there's being detached from the outcome. But I actually, in my head, I like to think of it like being unattached to the outcome, because we're feeling this inner conflict, right? But we don't want to lose hope, and that's so hard. Like, I think of the meme where the guy is like peeking around the corner and looking up the stairs with a sweet face, and he's like, hey God, just checking on that thing that I gave you so I wouldn't worry about it, but you're just like checking up on it, so it hasn't really been let go of. And this is that deep, like, really not, we're not in control. Spirit's in charge. The universe is in charge. What is the crossing card? And so we're trying to balance those two energies, that inner conflict. The crossing card is the Page of Wands. Page of Wands, what as a crossing card or a challenge, this is a new spark, sparking something new. Pages are childlike energy, so that's play and excitement. So maybe we're challenged in this place of inner turmoil or inner conflict, and like, how do we even begin anew? You know, how do we get into that playful energy? How do we spark the new idea or begin the new thing or invest in something that like the Page is a childlike energy, it's a new beginning. So how do it's this getting over the hump of, but I thought it was going to be that over there, and maybe it's something else where there's a little spark of fire igniting, and it feels like starting all over again. And it's kind of like, but you have to put down what you're trying to drag across the finish line with you. Funny. All right, what's in our subconscious? Look, these cards wanted to come out. Ace of Pentacles. We want to build a nice life on earth. And the Hierophant came out. Now the Hierophant is like, well, following rules, following social norms. Also, it's the God card, you know, with the High Priestess, we're looking within for our own inner wisdom. With the Hierophant, we are looking outside of ourselves for wisdom. So it's kind of the principle of the masculine and the feminine, you know, going into the dark, the womb with the High Priestess, but with the Hierophant, we're looking outside of ourselves. And so to me, this feels like it would be prayer, or maybe reading something, or maybe we're stuck because these are subconscious and we may not even be aware, but maybe we're stuck on it's supposed to look like, or according to societal pressure or the rules, I'm supposed to do this, you know, but we're really just wanting to build a nice life on earth. Like, that's it. That's what most of us want. At least I can't imagine it's not. And these are both subconscious, but the Ace of Pentacles, again, we have this new beginning. So there's like a fresh start. What do we have in the recent past? Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is about acknowledging how far we've come. This is in the recent past, and so maybe we're like, but I got this far, and like, how come it didn't work out? I kind of feel like a little kid, like, but I did all this. Why isn't it working out? You know, I thought I was gonna get to the 10. I didn't want to detour back to a whole nother ace. But still, you got that far. And there can be a sense of accomplishment when it comes towards that. So for the conscious, or what we know, or what we're heading towards, the Page of Pentacles. So again, we have this childlike energy, and we know it's like, we know we have to build something new, but we have to start from scratch. Like, we know this, we are aware of it, but we're still kind of dwelling on this, you know. Okay, interesting. Because the Five of Wands is where we are, where we're feeling this conflict, and we still have the hope, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not feeling that the hope needs to go away, right? But with the Page of Wands, the wands are heart energy. That's you know, spirit, creativity, passion. There's a new spark. We've got to start something new without knowing what the fuck is going on with the other thing. And in the past, we had gotten to the 6 where we had accomplished something. And it could be that we're reeling because we're like, well, why am I back to the 5? Like, well, I already went through the 5 to get to the 6, and now I'm back at the 5. Are you saying like that I'm not going to get past the 5 and the 6? And by your own efforts, I feel like you won't. The funny thing too is that in the subconscious, we got the Hierophant again. This is the God card where it's making me think of like praying to God, praying to spirit, praying to the universe, whatever, manifesting. Don't call it prayer. I don't really care. But asking outwardly or leaving it outwardly up to the powers that be, whatever that is. Even if it's your higher self and you know that your higher self has got your back. They got your soul. They are your soul. So just letting go of the outcome of a situation and moving past that into beginning what is working out, where there are sparks that are lighting up. What does feel good, what really speaks to our heart, and not and not like forcing things. So in the future, we have the 2 of Pentacles. So we're moving towards where, yeah, we have to balance. We the 2 of Pentacles is balancing things that we are building, right? So we might be balancing putting down the thing that we're trying to make work and picking up the other thing, and starting that. Like maybe we're just really focused on one thing, and we need to focus on, there are always things to be grateful for. There is something that is working out in your life. There is something that is going to feel good. It might feel awkward. It might just be like a little spark or beginning of a thing, and shifting your focus over to that spark when you thought you were going to have a rager over here and you invested a bunch of time into building up the nice whatever pyramid of wood. Here goes my bonfire metaphor. I don't know, but no, it's time to light up something new. You don't have to move to a whole new campground. You don't have to give up on you don't have to push away. Like, don't run away from things. This isn't anything like that. This is just focusing on something else. And it's kind of like the answers come to you as soon as you stop trying to think about a thing. All right, so what is our advice? Ooh. Yes. 9 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles is self-care. The bird on her hand represents spirit, that she knows her worth. She takes good care of herself. This is feeling good, taking good care of our physical body. And if we're stuck in all of this like conflict and inner turmoil because we're trying to make something happen, that's not self-care. Like, even though this might feel like something new and we didn't think we would be at the beginning of something. We wanted to work with something we had thought we're bringing to maturation. We have these 2 childlike energies of what we're going to build on earth and what's going to move our heart. It'll be nourishing to do whatever the other smaller thing is, and that will grow. And then while you're not looking, who knows what's going to go on over here? But the point is not what's going to go on over here, because you can't watch it. You can't be like working on this over here and sort of checking back on the other thing. This is like, God's like, you're not the boss of you. Right. I don't really like the word boss, right? Like he's not bossing us around or she or whatever. But it's like, I got this. I got you. Like, yeah. And they keep hammering away this is not about rejecting or pushing away or destroying, and I think this is going to be challenging, but not being bitter or angry and, trashing what it is that you were working on. It's not about that at all, or actively rejecting it or pushing it away. It's about just letting it go, um, releasing it. All right. How are we dealing with one another? Or how do other people see us? How are we seeing each other? The magician. Um, the magician, the magician is the manifester. It's the alchemist. We have all of the tools available to us. This is saying so many things. And how are we dealing with each other? What are we expecting from one another? Are we expecting good things? Are we expecting bad things? We're all mirroring each other. And others are mirroring to you what your own inner thoughts about yourself are. And in turn you are mirroring back to them. I'm seeing that Spider-Man meme where there's like 3 or 4 Spider-Men and they're all pointing at each other. It's kind of like that. I think that we're experiencing one another really in like reflective of what our own inner experience is, like what our expectations are. Like sometimes I'll go, it's really mirrory out there, like we're mirroring one another. And I think I even did kind of just say that, but this almost feels more like people are going to reflect back to you what you expect of them. With the magician, we're becoming very, well, if we're not consciously aware, our, our we create our experiences with other people based on our inner judgments and criticisms or expectations. There's another meme where a guy is walking through a town or something, and there's an old man walking down the street and he says, "Hey, I'm thinking of moving here. What is this town like?" And the old man says, "Well, what was your old town like?" And the man says, "Oh, it was miserable. Everybody was really rude. Nobody, helped one another, blah, blah, blah." He just listed a bunch of complaints. And the old man was like, "Well, it's the same here." And then another guy goes up to him and he says, "Hey, we're thinking of moving here. What is this town like?" And the man says, "What is it like where you're moving from?" And the guy says, "Oh, it's great. We had great friends with the neighbors, blah, 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 blah." And the old man says, "Well, it's the same here." This magician in how we are viewing one another and how others are viewing us really feels like that. Like if you are having fucked up expectations of other people, that's probably what you're going to be met with. Um, yeah. And this is just practice with that. It doesn't mean that if you think of like your biggest nemesis in a positive light, they're going to call you up and you're going to make up. Like we're just really learning to play with our energy right now and to play with our magic tools. Hopes and fears. The Knight of Wands. Okay. And the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is being in lack mentality, being in fear, being in worry. It's earth energy. So it's usually like worried about finances. They're out in the cold, but they are so huddled over and concerned about themselves that they don't realize they're walking by a church where they could probably receive sustenance and maybe even financial assistance or whatever. They could be warm And they can also talk to spirit, talk to God. And the Knight of Wands, I think this is really interesting because we had the Page of Wands here, and this is the challenge card. We need to start that new sparky thing, hopes and fears. The page matures into a knight. So are we going to sit around and worry and prevent that page from growing into a knight, which is something that really is actively moving and prospering and happening? Outcome. Oh, getting lots of twos today. Yes. The outcome. Ace of Swords. It's a new way of thinking. Just change your mind. And if it keeps going back to being negative, change it again. And if it goes back to negative, change it again. This is new thoughts, a new beginning, speaking things into being, speak out loud what you want to happen. And then we have that came out with the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is just choosing a direction. He's holding the globe and he's like, which way do I go? Go the way where the fire is burning, not smoldering out, where there's an actual spark. Move towards the spark. And as that grows, then who knows? It's like the one time I went camping many times, but I've gone camping before and thought the fire was out. And then you come back a few minutes later and you're like, oh shit. Or maybe that's just me, but it was still going. So who knows what'll happen with the embers. That's why I'm saying don't get pissed off and throw water on it. Because we're talking about metaphorical fires, so we don't have to worry about starting an actual forest fire. But yeah, don't put it out, don't reject it. We're not pushing things away, we're just moving in the direction of things that are working. Okay, let's grab. Let me get a couple of these. No, yeah, this lunar eclipse, it could be tough depending on where you are and how stubborn you are with what you're banging your head up against. Or it could almost be a relief. Like it could be like, you know what? My husband says this thing, it's hilarious. He goes, I'm just one man. You're just one human. What can you do? So it could, I'm feeling this reading is like a sigh, a resignation, an allowance, a release. And that could be, that may or may not be sad or hard or, but the more tension that there is, this one was coming out. Let me see. We got passion. The more it's going to be more difficult. Rise passion, rise up high, inflame my purpose, reach the sky. I said move, and that's number 11. Move in the direction of what has a spark so that spark can continue to burn. And do another one. Knowledge. Let me connect above and below. Let the knowledge of ancestors flow. This makes me think of the Hierophant prayer, number 28. Praying, asking for answers, asking for signs, asking for synchronicities. couple of these. And then I think we'll call it good. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. It's an owl. We're evolving spiritually. What makes you closer to God? That's what we're doing. No matter what it is that you are trying, that you might be trying to force, or whatever it is that you're not receiving, that you wish you were receiving, you have spirit, you have the universe. We are so loved. We are so loved. And that's what this is about. It's knowing that you are loved. You are loved. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. So this is kind of what I was talking about with the magician, where what we look at, how we anticipate or expect others to be, is how they're going to meet us and how we're going to experience them. Anyway, that's what I got for you. I'm going through it too, man. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or whatever. Thank you for everyone who stops by here. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day on Earth. Peace. Namaste.